Page 6 now, unconstitutional presidential amnesty. As the case is pending at the appellate level with an injunction in place, there is a move in North Carolina to pressure the governor to drop out of the lawsuit. North Carolina is one of 26 states suing the Obama administration to halt illegal executive amnesty. However, injunction or not, it appears the Team Obama has been moving forward with amnesty.
The judge issues his injunction on February 16th. You're telling us a few weeks later we went on our own, just out of the kindness of our heart, even though the judge thinks you misrepresented the case to him, out of the kindness of your heart, you told the judge sometime early March, but that DHS bill came due on February 27th. You said you knew about this shortly after the injunction, so sometime between February 16th and February 27th, you learned of it. I'm wondering why you didn't tell us right away, or tell the judge right away, which we would have known about and the American people would have known about.
We told the court within a couple of weeks of the injunction in an effort to be candid with the tribunal, which our counsel felt that it was their obligation, and which certainly, had I been counsel, I would have had the same attitude as well.
Now, the lawsuit against Team Obama is on two tracks right now. One is in Texas, the original case trying to halt lawless presidential amnesty, and two, Fifth Circuit Court, where the administration is trying to lift the injunction. Bottom line, the Democrats are thinking that illegals will vote Democrat once they're made citizens. It is pure anti-American, unethical electioneering. Joining me now, author, speaker, strategic consultant, and Daily Ledger contributor, T.J. O'Hara. T.J., speaking of the election, Scott Walker, just for an example, we're not singling him out, but we're talking about the law. He is running for president, but he's not officially running for president. Therefore, he can exploit a loophole in the federal law.
Yeah, effectively what a lot of the candidates have done, and it's, as you say, not limited to Scott Walker, is an end run rather than a presidential run. And what they're trying to do is circumvent the FEC restrictions on how much money and how much control they can exercise over their super PACs and so forth. And the problem really stems from the fact that the FEC is almost a non-entity at this point. In our great wisdom, we've got 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans on the FEC committee, which means a stalemate. Their own chairperson came back and said that, she said, when you refer to us as dysfunctional, that doesn't even begin to describe us. We're beyond dysfunctional. And what's happening is the parties are exploiting the fact that the FEC is in effect emasculated, that it won't take any action. And so they're taking advantage of the opportunity to pretend they're not running so they can amass money and have more control over the super PACs.
Well, at least it's equal. Both Democrats and Republicans can do this. Speaking of the Democrats, if you mess with the Clinton cow, sometimes you're going to get the horns, unfortunately.
Yeah, you and I talked earlier in the month about the situation with the Happy Hearts Fund, and apparently things aren't as happy at the Happy Hearts Fund as they used to be when it was exposed that Bill Clinton got $500,000 for speaking at one of their events. Now, the Happy Hearts Fund wasn't happy that that got out, and so they're beginning to threaten an executive who they felt was the whistleblower with possible actions relative to their confidentiality restrictions. And that person has now filed a formal complaint with the New York Attorney General's office. What's interesting is we almost have like a soap opera because, as it turns out, you have Petra Nemcova, who's the founder of the Happy Hearts Fund, who was dating the Prime Minister of Haiti, who was best friends of the President of Haiti, who was falling in disfavor with the Haiti people. So allegedly, Nemcova went back to the Clinton Foundation, to whom she had just donated $500,000 for Bill's appearance of her own donors' funds, and goes back to the Clinton administration and says, can you give an award to the president to kind of shore up his poll numbers? And lo and behold, a heretofore non-existent award for leadership and education was given by the Clintons to the president of Haiti. So, you know, maybe you're more cynical than me, but, you know, I just look at this as just pure coincidence.
Oh, yeah. No influence peddling going on there whatsoever. Now, it's being said right now, and I think accurately so, in Iraq right now, it is a quagmire for, you know, what is going on there, trying to get rid of the Islamic State. I think Afghanistan is the next quagmire, and it's also a money pit for U.S. dollars. That would be taxpayer dollars, and for what?
Well, it just recently was exposed by the Special Investigator General for Afghanistan restructuring that $759 million of our taxpayer funds went to create better school systems and so forth. And the progressive reports have shown that they've gone from 900,000 people being educated to over 8 million, and that sounds terrific. Unfortunately, we're now finding out that the State Department wasn't aware that the progress data was falsified. So we're finding out that the money was embezzled by some of the ministers of Afghanistan, that entrance exam scores were fictitiously modified, and that the data itself, the raw statistics, was falsified and doctored by them just to keep the funds going. So, you know, what's new? I'm sure we'll be told at some point we were winning in Afghanistan.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but it goes on in the federal government all over the place. Now, there's also another effort right now to what I consider rewrite history in this country, and it has to do with teaching children U.S. history in this country. And we've kind of gone from teaching the facts to now some sort of whitewashed PC version.
Well, 55 historians took an almost unprecedented action against the College Board, which administers the exams and sets guidelines, which, while not directly controlling curriculum, certainly influence it. These are the exams that students take in their high school years to qualify for college. So it obviously has an impact. The problem is they are rewriting history. It's social politics rather than the real political underpinnings of our country. Interestingly enough, they found out that Benjamin Franklin, for example, was never mentioned, not a single time. Neither was Martin Luther King. And yet the College Boards emphasize the disparities on a basis of class, gender, race, ethnicity, and so forth. They talk about the market system and the way it's created wide gaps between the rich and the poor. So they're rewriting history. What's fascinating to me is among the 55 professors and historians was a Harvard professor who came back and said, this is a travesty. You're not telling the truth. You're making us look like a failed society. This is the greatest experiment in individual and self-government in the history of mankind, and you're dismissing it as a prejudiced and failed system. And until we start turning that around, it's no wonder that we have such an uninformed electorate.
Yeah, they're dumbing down the next generations, all for the name of getting reelected. Exactly. TJ, thanks.
You're welcome.